What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are on a weekly time frame. This all this noise, we'll get rid of it here soon, but this is the LRO indicator. I'm just using it to see where we are, relatively speaking. It would be really good for Ethereum to get back above 3,500. Saying that here at 2,200, that might seem obvious, but just roll with me, okay? 3-day time frame. What are we looking at here? No inversions. Okay, what about the daily time frame? No reversion yet. Oh, kind of yet a false one though. 4-hour time frame. No reversions, huh? You don't need them. You don't need them to mark a low, but you've gone pretty low. I'm surprised. Anyways, let's look at Ethereum on a on the ribbon. Let's look at that, and then we'll look at it on a plain old chart and do some regular analysis. Looking at this here on a weekly basis, it would be very good for Ethereum, not by the end of this week, but before this yellow line crosses down below the red line, it'd be very good for Ethereum to do something like this, where it gets a candle that closes above the yellow line. So the goal right now would be about $3,000. Let's try to get Ethereum back above $3,000 on a weekly closing basis. We have two days, 9 hours left in this week. That does not mean that it has to do it this week. It can do it next week. It could do it the week after, probably even. But it just depends. It depends on how low this goes. You know, with this drop next week, this yellow could cross more. I think that between now and the next 2 weeks from now, essentially in the next like 16, 17 days, I think that Ethereum needs to get above $3,000. Okay, and the sooner the better. The sooner the better. Okay, but at least within the next 16 to 17 days. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, if we're looking at this on a 3-day time frame, crossed probably to the downside, I would assume. Oh no. What's happening? Can you guys still? Yeah, you can still see me. Okay, huh? That was weird. Let's see. Yes, crossed to the downside, and that's okay. Here, you'd want to see it get above $3,000 as well, daily time frame here. Flirting with it a little bit, but you rejected more. Yeah, what we want to see is you get above $3,000 Ethereum. Get above 3,000, and that would validate that this is your low, likely. All right. You do have a double bottom set up. Let's look at a chart without any of the noise. Ethereum USD on all-time history. Actually, we do have an all-time history index. Let's do that because it has volume too, so that's nice. Definitely a nice double bottom look. If we put a low right here, you slipped. You actually went all the way down and you tipped that low here. This is somewhat of like a true double bottom, actually, right? Anybody saying this is a quadruple bottom, we have to go lower. No. That is a double bottom, right? This, if all those lines were here, that would be a quadruple bottom. We have to go lower, but no, it actually, and we did go lower, and that's where we found support at. Prior areas of resistance, prior areas of resistance, prior areas of resistance, prior areas of insignificance. Yeah, Ethereum, relatively speaking, I like that as a low. I think that it has found a low. If we look at this on a daily time frame, you can see that the RSI is in a downtrend. We do have lower lows. We have lower highs. We're in a downtrend. Generally speaking, downtrends, generally, not always, but generally they do end once you hit the oversold zone, right? We're one way or another, whether you expect Ethereum to go lower or not, certainly you can at least accept that we are near the end of this downtrend, if not at it. I suspect that was the low. I don't think that we're going to go lower. But time will tell. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, we don't have bullish divergence, but we do have a bit of like an M pattern here, like a failed M of which we're ripping out of. So I almost would anticipate that we probably go back up to the 60 area or more. A move like that on the 4-hour time frame would likely take us back up to about $2,600 to $2,800, $2,900. So getting near that $3,000 area, but not quite through it. It depends. Ethereum can definitely, it can surprise everybody. We could just rip today and be up above $3,000, $4,000. You never know. It could be by the end of this week we're up at crazy high levels. It doesn't take long for any crypto to remind you what we're dealing with. This is crypto, you guys. It can, in a flash, it just bearish as hell, and then the next day bullish as hell. You know what I mean? It can happen. So if you sold Ethereum, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, you probably sold at the worst time. Even if you sold here, you probably sold at the worst time, and all of this move is going to get eaten up in a very, very, very short amount of time, over the coming days, over the coming weeks, especially. If you notice here, as we're moving down, you're getting volume. As you're moving down lower, volume's dying off, and then at this low, volume picked up. It picked up a lot. You found support at this double bottom area, and now volume's picking up even more as you're coming out of the low. That tells me that your sellers are exhausted, probably. Your buyers are coming in at full force. We'll see if that's the case. I was just looking at something else. Sorry, looking at somebody saying something in the Discord. I don't know who brought the word monkey into Discord, but I think it's funny. It's monos. It's like monkey in Spanish. I think that was I think that was Pika, but I don't know. Shout out to Pika. 2,200. I know he says it all the time, but I think that's funny. It's like a cute pet name. It's $2,200. I know it's meant to be as like an insult, but I think it's funny. $2,200 going up to about $5,000, $6,200, something like that would be the expectation once we do recover from here. And yes, you're hearing me correctly. I'm talking about new all-time highs for Ethereum. Yes, if we break above $4,900, we break above this all-time high. We likely don't stop there, right? We probably, let's see, from an all-time high here to a bear cycle low here, right? Last cycle's high to the bear cycle low. You can see that we're finding support at the 0.5, finding resistance at the 886, coming down to the 0.5. It's actually not common. Generally speaking, whenever you do, you just rip right through and hit the 886. You generally do go to the 382. But finding support at the 0.5 is actually rather bullish. So here, double bottom at the 0.5, I'm okay with that. If we are to see new all-time highs for Ethereum, and I think that we will, my friends, my assumption would be that we would at least stop at $7,700, $7,800. And I think that this target could be acquired by the end of April. I genuinely think that over the next 2 months, we could see Ethereum being worth about $7,800, $7,800. If not there, then maybe higher. If not there, then something around this area. But I certainly do expect, over the coming months, we will hit this area. By the end of the cycle, I'm anticipating Ethereum will be anywhere from about $14,000 to $27,000, you guys. Do you know how high of a market cap? Yes, I'm fully aware, right? We're talking about trillions of dollars when we get into these $20 ranges. And I think we're even talking about trillions of dollars, or at least over a trillion when you're at 14K. Let's just see. Ethereum. Let's see. Ethereum is at 267. Let's just call it 270 to round up. 270 times 4 would be what? That's 104? Or 1.4? Would it be 1.4 billion? I think it'd be 1.4 trillion. I'm sorry, 1.4 trillion. I think maybe 207. I need to do this. Damn it. That's calculator. Google calculator. I'm normally good, but man, it's the morning. I'm tired. 270. It's no excuse, but I'm tired. 270 times 4. That equals 1.08. Okay, 1.08 trillion dollars. Okay, I know it says 1,000, but we're talking in billions. So that's a trillion. Just roll with it. Okay. But we're talking about a 6x. Okay, let's just do that. I don't know why I said times 4. 270. Maybe I was just trying to make it easier on myself. 270 times 6.2. 6.25. 0.25. So at $14,000, Ethereum would have a $1.687 trillion market cap. Okay, at 14K. So if Ethereum would have 1.6 trillion at 14K, then at 28K or at 22K, I'm sorry, 22K, we would have it would be something on the lines of like a 2.5 trillion dollar market cap, right? $2.6 trillion market cap, $2.7 trillion market cap. So yes, I'm aware that these high levels is what this means, multi-trillion dollars up here. I'm aware of that. But I fully expect it to happen. I fully expect that we could, at a minimum, I think 14K is where we're going to end this cycle. At a maximum, something around 22 to 26, 27. Maybe you make a run all the way up to 42, 43K and you shock the world. I don't see that happening, but I accept it as a possibility, I suppose. 2272 targets are cycle-ending target areas for a lot of cryptos, but so are the 1618 extensions. So anywhere and everywhere in between is free game. I fully do expect, I think that we do break above 20K by the end of the cycle, but at least 14K. Okay, I'm going to stop repeating myself. Let's see if we've got other things that agree with that, actually. Let's look at this relative high here, this relative low there. You've got your 2618 right there, just below 14K. You've got serious resistance at 10K. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we found some resistance at 10K. I just don't think it stops us. And I don't think we stop between 14K and 22K. I would think that we go higher. All this does is allows us to see that 24K, 27K, they kind of become targets, but those are between this range here. So I really don't think that we go above that, right? I'm glad that we see a little bit of congruence here. It's nice to note that obviously 10K might be a psychological level of resistance, so that makes sense. Expect to find resistance there. And then, of course, you've got a little resistance here, too, at that $7,700, $7,800 area that we were talking about as well. Ethereum is not anything to worry about. I know it's been lackluster. I know that people have been concerned about it and wondering if they've made the right moves as far as investing goes. But guys, if we look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin here to end this video, Ethereum versus Bitcoin on a daily perspective, it's starting to turn on its daily RSI trend here. You have lower highs, right? Lower lows, and you've broken out of that. You're starting to kind of turn this thing around, in my opinion. If we look at the weekly time frame here, you've got higher lows right there, and that right there paired with these lower lows here, that's bullish divergence. You actually even have, if you were to close this week down here, which I don't think you do, but even if you did, you would have double bullish divergence, something like that. And if we look at this, we keep going back on a monthly time frame. Look at this here from a relative low to a relative high. You have tipped the 786. And generally speaking, whenever you tear right through your golden ratio and you tip the 786, we've seen this all across the space this cycle. You rip immediately up to your 0.5, your 382. If this is to be a successful bottom, what we want to see, you know, maybe not this month, maybe not in the next 7 hours, but I mean, the sooner the better. Generally speaking, whenever you get these 786 dips, you do rip right up to your golden ratio and above your golden ratio, and then of course through. But to confirm that this is a low, you need to get above the golden ratio. So this week, next week, whatever, get above the golden ratio versus Bitcoin. I really like that as a low. I really do like that as a low. I want to see this too. Let's see, high to low. And all this chart is saying is that if Ethereum's bottoming out versus Bitcoin, that means it's going to outperform Bitcoin in terms of growth throughout here in the end of the cycle. Oh, that's kind of an interesting perspective. Hold on now. I'm kind of curious about this real quick. Now that we've got that right, Ethereum's going to outperform Bitcoin by the rest of the cycle. What's Bitcoin's price going to be? I'm curious. This will help me determine if 500K is still on the table for Bitcoin. Okay. It's not going to be completely conclusive, but it's just if it doesn't make sense, then 500K is off. Okay, cool. It makes sense. Good. 500K is still a possibility, because if Ethereum's going to outperform Bitcoin, it just needs to see a greater than 500% move, right? That's it. It needs to see greater than 500%. Well, the minimum target is at 14K. 14K, you guys, that puts us at about, well, this puts us at 500%. So that would mean that Ethereum would have to go higher, which validates the notion that we will see a 20K or higher price. I like that. I like that a lot. And also, technically, you know, Ethereum could outperform Bitcoin if it stops at lower prices too. But what I wanted to see was that 500K was not at a similar level here. I will say the fact that 14K is at that same 500% growth rate, that does make me wonder if Bitcoin tops off lower than 500K. If not, maybe I'm not bullish enough on Ethereum. It could be either way, but I would lean more to the side that I might be too bullish on Bitcoin, in which case we see like a 300% growth. Let's see. I'm just kind of curious. What's Ethereum going to do versus Bitcoin? If it grows, no, sorry. ETH versus Bitcoin. I don't know if it sees new all-time highs by the end of the cycle versus Bitcoin. I don't know if it does. It could, but let's just see. That's a 300% growth versus Bitcoin, something like that. I think it will top off at its 886. That's kind of my expectation, actually. For the rest of the cycle, I don't think that you're going to go up here. No, it's not going to do a 10x. If it did a 10x versus Bitcoin, guys, Ethereum's either going to be worth over $10 trillion by the end of the cycle, or like 10 trillion in market cap, or Bitcoin's going to crap out and Ethereum's going to be the king, which neither of those to me sound likely. So something between about a 250% to a 350% extra growth than Bitcoin, 250 to 350. If Bitcoin does 250% more, that would be 800%. 800% lines up right there at that 20K. 350 would be a little bit more, 900. That makes sense. Okay, cool. I like it. Yeah. I like it, man. I really do think Ethereum will see prices over 20K. I think Bitcoin has a really solid chance still of seeing prices above 500K, but time will tell, I suppose. But all that to say, the purpose of this video is to really just say I think Ethereum's at a low point. I think it's very apparent, very obvious here in the charts. We're going to see Ethereum starting to move up. That's going to encourage the Bitcoin dominance to move down. When Ethereum moves up, the whole altcoin market cap moves up. Think of Ethereum as like the mama duck, and all the altcoins are the little baby ducks following it. So we're about to run up. We're about to see some explosive behavior. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I feel like I fell off the rails a little bit there, but whatever. It's still good information. All right, take care. Bye-bye.